G'day humans, Chris Stead here. Today I'm on the road and I'm at the Holiday Inn Kandooma Maldives Resort. That's it behind me. In this video, we're going to do a full tour and give you a full review of everything you need to know about this family-friendly, activity-centric destination in the Maldives. Let's go. So if you're a regular to my channel, you'll know that I've been in the Maldives going through a lot of different resorts and putting up a lot of content around what you can expect if you're looking at a Maldives trip. Now the Holiday Inn here at Kandooma is particularly different to all the other ones that I've done, and that's good. I love something that's offering something different. And this has got a very family-friendly focus. Like almost all the people I've seen here are families. So it's not really kind of your honeymoon destination, for example. It's not kind of the grey nomad place as well. It's mostly families with reasonably young kids, and it's good reason, right? Kids stay here if they're using the same bedding and they're under, I think it's under 13, so 12 and down. They stay here for free and they eat here for free for eating off the kids menu with an adult. So straight away, some real good value there. And I know you people like value. I love value. Right. It's also got this thing here called the Perfect Wave. So Perfect Wave is a company that basically controls the surfing break, not just here, but about 5 or 6 of them around the area. And about 30% of the business here, they are telling me, are surfers that come here because once you get here, you can then buy a permit basically to surf the waves around here from Perfect Wave, and then they will take you there as part of that. Or let's just get paddled out to the Kandooma Right, which is right off here, I'll show you in a second, and get these really amazing waves with no crowds, which is a huge thing in the Maldives, because I've surfed a lot of breaks here in the Maldives now, and everywhere it's just been boats dropping off people on you the whole entire time. And out here, I've been able to surf with my son, just a couple of people. So it's a big selling point, I think. And there's plenty more to it anyway. So anyway, that's what you're in for, somewhere that's not high-end luxury, but it's offering value. It's offering something specific for families and specific for people who like doing activities, snorkeling, diving, sailing, surfing, things like that. All right, let's jump in with the full tour. Let's go. So here we go. This is the dock. This is where you're going to land. So we're going to set foot for the first time at the Holiday Inn Kandooma Maldives Resort. I think that could be the boat actually leaving to pick some people up now. So it's interesting, actually, kind of, my initial impressions here were a little bit so-so. Having been to, this is my 8th resort here in the Maldives, and this was the only resort where I kind of, arrived at Mali and no one came and greeted me and no one helped us with the luggage, and the boat was kind of the most dumbed down of all the boats. Still fine, but like when you're comparing, and I think, and getting here, and looking at the way, and we're going to go through this in a second, I'm going to ride us around the entire island, just seeing kind of the low-key take they've got on everything here. It's very like just chilled out surfer vibe. right? If you're looking for that high-end luxury experience, then that's probably going to grate on you a little bit. And also, that there is a locals island, and like at low tide, they almost touch. Now, apparently it's against the law for us to go over there, and I think it's the same vice versa, so they're very separate, but it's right there. And when you first come in and you go, oh gosh, like that's right on top of us, and they're obviously building a skyscraper here. Well, skyscraper's a bit of a big call, but they're obviously building there, so that over the coming years that's going to become a little bit more active and crowded. But I will say that after the initial shock of going, oh my gosh, we're right on top of that place, I basically haven't heard a peep from it. Or it's barely played into anything other than the fact that if you're looking in that specific direction, it's in your face, which I haven't had to do. There's a couple of water villas that face right at it, so that's, other than that, everyone's pretty cool with that. All right, so you get off the jetty here. Now at the front here, you got the dive centre, and like I said, one of the things that definitely stands out as a positive with the Holiday Inn here is they are trying to get value for money. Like when you order food from the restaurants here, like the serving sizes are huge. You know, you're never walking away hungry, that's for sure. The beer prices here, you know, by comparison to some of the other resorts I've been in, the beer prices have been, you know, well into double figures for a beer. Like you're looking at 11, 12, 13, even $14 for a beer. Here, $7. So that I really like, and I hope they stay with that in the future. Now over here's the dive centre. Now diving is one of the big things here. So surfing I've already talked to you about, and I'll talk about it more as we go around the island. But surfing, there's only waves here for 6 months of the year. And diving is 12 months of the year, and there's great diving off here. I was speaking to some people yesterday, they went diving some caves yesterday. That could be it right there actually, in that photo. So if you've never been to the Maldives before, the coral is okay, not amazing, not Great Barrier Reef standards, but the wildlife is the best I've ever come across. It's just awesome. Eels, turtles, sharks, stingrays, fish of every variety you can imagine. Big fish, small fish, it's just dolphins. It's amazing. Now, here's the cool thing, right? If you've got a diving license, you can dive for free 2 times a day. You just book it in, you come up, they take you on a boat somewhere and drop you off. You have a dive and they drop you back. And that's bloody excellent. Well, how good's that? In fact, if you're a diver, if you love diving, case closed as far as I'm concerned. I think if you're a surfer, it's pretty much case closed too. Like, this is the one. This is the one you want to go to. Yeah, so really impressive what they're doing in the dive centre, and it's like good diving as well. All right, now we're going to jump on a tour here. I'm going to ride around on this bike, which is way too small for me, holding a camera and talking at the same time, so wish me luck. Let's go. All right, so let's do it. So one of the things about this island is it's a big island. So there's a lot of distances to cover here, and they don't supply bikes. So I am riding a bike at the moment. You can rent a bike, but they don't supply bikes. Now there is a buggy service, and to be fair, every time we've called them and asked for a lift, they have come and turned up for us. But you can expect to do a fair bit of walking, especially if you're going to go between the surf breaks, the restaurant, and the Overwater villas, which is where we are, which is literally the further side of the island from here. Probably more than 1 kilometre away. But I'm going to ride it, so you're going to get an idea for the distances here. But in the middle of the island, there's just accommodation everywhere. Then you've got 150 villas here, or rooms. So that's a lot of there's a lot of rooms that don't necessarily have to be a long way away. So that's just something to think about. You might want to sacrifice a bit of a view for proximity to the places where you eat and the places where you play. All right, now here is the central hub. I'm going to take you for a walk down there, but over here you've kind of got these. There's only 3 real places to eat. You've got over here, which I think is called the kitchen, which we had dinner there last night. Focus on kind of Vietnamese food, Thai food. It's kind of those Asian cuisines, but really, really lovely. It's very yummy. and then I'll take you in a sec down to kind of the main buffet area, and then there's like a beachy style, you know, eating your swimwear, soaking wet style place. Up there as well is a sunset bar. That's really nice. It doesn't actually face sunset, which is the odd thing, but it's a lighthouse apparently, that they got halfway through building this lighthouse and then got into trouble because someone of importance didn't want to look at it. So they stopped and turned it into a bar. And on the roof here, there's a whole bunch of sun around. There's a really beautiful spot in the evening, but the sun actually sets that direction. You can see it from up there, but it's not, I guess, your traditional sunset bar in that it doesn't actually like face straight into the sunset. But we had some really lovely cocktails up there actually. The bartender, I assume he was the head dude, had just invented a new gin-based cocktail, and we tried it and it was excellent. Really, really good. So I hope he keeps on with that. The beach, the villas here, as far as I'm aware, there's no villas that have a pool. So all your swimming's either in the water over there, or it's in the main pool here, which I'll show you. So the pros and cons, obviously, the obvious pros and cons to that. The positive, well, the negative is you can't just jump in your pool. You can just jump in the water, and even in the ocean water villas that we're in, it can get pretty shallow at low tide, and there's a bit of current moving. So the negative is you don't have that kind of swim always available to you whenever you want, but the positive is that everyone kind of comes to this central area to have their swimming and just cruise out during the day. And for a family-orientated resort, I don't mind that. And so opposed to everyone kind of being islands of themselves, just basically, you know, hiding out in their villas all day, people are kind of forced to come out of the reeds and be in the same place together, which creates an experience which is, you know, more communal and a bit more rewarding for families, I think. This is a reception area. I just wanted to show you this epic domes they've got. There's a library up there too, like a little study area. Huge, wicked domes. Okay, so here's the kids club. And my kids went in it. There's a ball pit in there. They loved it. There's a splash pool. They really loved that as well. There's some reading nook up the top. Let's go have a look. Yeah, so not the most unbelievable head-blowing kids club in the world, but definitely not shabby either. So this is kind of your main buffet thing, so main dinner buffet, main lunches, main. Actually, I don't think they're doing lunch. No, I think they're doing breakfast in there. And then you kind of got this big open space. This incredible dome design again. I just love it. It's so cool. And this big inside-outside area. Now the beauty of that is that unlike some of the other places in the Maldives I've been where, you know, they're expecting a shirt and collar, I'm definitely expecting a certain level of dress. Here, you can just rock up and just get out of the pool, rock up, sit down here and order drinks and food and everyone's happy. So that's really cool. I really like that. Again, family friendly. So you got this is basically, and you got this other little bar over here where they do kind of lunch feeds and everything. We got a burger from there, Caesar salad, halloumi fingers, a bunch of stuff from there. It was all really good and really well proportioned, as I said. Now over here is this big, large kind of main pool. A little spa up there. And then the only negative about the pool is it's so hot and the water's so warm. It's particularly warm today and the last couple of days that we've been here. But yeah, so a generously sized pool, plenty of space. Kids have spent a lot of time in there, just fucking around, throwing balls at each other, doing that kind of stuff. And the sun lounges galore, and this is sunset facing. And like I said before, see, when you're kind of here in this space looking out, this really nice, beautiful space, you're not noticing that little island off to the side at all.
Now there were some additional eating experiences you could do around the pool. You can see here the floating breakfast option, which is definitely a curiosity. It's not the most pleasant way to eat a breakfast, but it's high on the fun factor. And the food that they provided was great. And you could just sit in the basically, or stand in the pool and kind of eat your breakfast there. It's this popped up in a few Maldives hotels or resorts that we went to as an experience, but yeah, it's kind of fun, a bit different. And we had a ball doing it. Now they also had a big buffet barbecue experience, a beach barbecue it's called, Maldivian Beach BBQ, where they had dances as you can see here, and music playing, and a big buffet buffet dinner laid out around the area with a huge range of food options. One of the things to note is that unlike a lot of other resorts you'll come across in the Maldives, none of the Holiday Inn Kandooma Resort eateries are air conditioned. They're all kind of open, inside, outside type experiences. And it can get quite hot. It was really hot when we were over there. So that can make for a slightly uncomfortable experience at times, but a more atmospheric experience a lot of the time as well. They had a lot of music playing actually. They had DJs and saxophonists and obviously the dancers tonight. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're at considering this resort. That yeah, unless you eat in your room, you're kind of being a little exposed to the elements. But anyway, here's a look at what food was on offer at that barbecue buffet. Now another experience you can do is this romantic dinner on the beach. Now you can see they did such a good job setting it up with the lights and everything. You got personal waiters, you got barbecues in the corner cooking the food for you, and as a treat they set it up for my family. So we went down there and ate the romantic beach dinner, and the food was fantastic. There was so much of it, so much food came out for this meal. It just kept coming and coming and coming, and it was all delicious. So not typically the type of thing you'd do as a family. But if you're over there on your honeymoon or as a couple or just and want kind of a more romantic one-on-one experience, then yeah, I was stunned by the amount of food that came out and how tasty it was as well. So that's certainly something to consider. And I don't even think we could get through it all in the end. We tried our best, but it was just too much food. Yum.
So apparently it's very low season right now, so some of the things aren't being used just because the capacity isn't there to demand it. Yeah, that's right. They did say there's usually a buffet lunch, but there's not enough people here to demand it, so they're just doing a la carte. But I love the hammocks, table tennis table, chessboard, little playground over here, pool table as well. Kids have been playing that, so all very nice. So that's this kind of side of the area, and I'll take you around to the other side. And not nicely shaded in here. We've got literally, well not literally, but we've got basically no breeze today. In fact, all 3 days we've been here, it's been 2 or 3 knots of wind, so just a little bit clipping off the water, but not much. It's really making for some heat. But this is an activity-centric place. I think you're going to be spending a lot of time in the water. We've already probably spent, it's about midday now, and I've probably already spent 3 hours in the water, at least. All right, let's continue on. Isn't it beautiful? The one thing about the Maldives that has impressed me most is that it's actually like the pictures. It's not like every image of the joint's been photoshopped. It actually looks, it's as beautiful as it looked in all the photos that you see. Right. So like everything, basically, almost everything is in this central area here, and the rest of it's pretty much all accommodation. Now I'll just take you quickly down here. I hope they don't get lost. Just to show you the perfect way of the water sports section. So typical water sports, you know, there's stuff that you can use, non-motorised, get some snorkel gear. Then there's the stuff that's motorised, it's going to cost you back some money. The perfect wave thing is interesting. At first I was really against the idea. You know, like maybe it's an Australian thing, but just the idea for me that someone can like just own a piece of the ocean and not let you in it, just doesn't fly. And you know, it's a sizable investment to get like a surf pass for the whole time you're here. I mean, again, if you need to hire a board, I think it's $50 a day for the US, and that could even be that might not even be including tax. So, but one of the buggies. Having surfed quite a few breaks and just having like mountains of people, when we did this perfect wave spot here, when we rocked up here, got our boards, paddled out, and there was one other guy out, and just, you know, 5 foot massive right hand, perfect waves running 150 metres down the point, and me and my son just basically got to take our pick. So activities on today, to the point snorkeling, so that's they take on a little snorkeling tour, aqua aerobics, high intensity interval training, I'll skip that, and sunset cruise later on as well. Little beach ball cohort here, and then you can see kind of some of the kits, a couple of catamarans, kayaks, paddle boards, things that can be towed, things that do tow, life jackets, all that kind of stuff, right?
Now, down the jetty, you're going to get your way to a lot of the activities that you can do. Obviously, I've spoken about the surfing, I've spoken about the diving. This particular experience we went on was fantastic. It was swimming with sharks. Look, my boys got into it. My youngest was a bit afraid, but he did get in the water. My oldest was fine. I was fine. My wife got in the water and swam around for a bit, but she wasn't overly thrilled. She was a bit scared, and my daughter really freaked out. So my 11-year-old daughter, 11-year-old at the time, really did freak out. So it's just something to keep in note if you're trying to get your kids involved. There's my young bloke. But it was so cool. It was like being in the middle of an aquarium. The sharks are fine. They come up, they touch you. The stingrays come up and touch you. There were some black tips around as well. Obviously fish galore. It was possibly the best experience we did in the whole Maldives, I think. It was just such a thrill. And then as part of this tour, after you spend some time with the sharks, you then go snorkeling on just a more general reef break. And all the kids got into that, just looking at the fish and the coral in an atoll, like just right in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of nowhere. Another experience we did that didn't go too well was deep sea fishing. You had to wake up at the crack of dawn, as you can see, and get out in a boat. Like that, the timing, the atmosphere and everything was lovely. But the guys didn't really know what they were doing, especially with kids. They just jumped out there and they just threw a line off the back and said, okay, we're going to trawl now and hopefully a fish jumps on. I was like, oh, okay, well maybe they get fish all the time. But after an hour of no luck, I said, guys, we just want to throw a line in and catch some fish. And then they took us to a reef where we didn't get a single bite. So it wasn't quite the experience that we were after. It was a bit of a shame.
Yeah, and then the third party stuff that I've been dealing with in the Maldives has been, for the most part, a pain in the butt. Okay, disinfecting everything. However, yeah, being able to get those waves for ourselves was worth its weight in dollars, to be honest. And then I found out that they actually take you on these trips. So they put me on a WhatsApp group, and every night they go, okay, we reckon the best spots tomorrow are going to be these spots. And then there was a 7:30 trip somewhere. There was an 8. They got 3 boats, big awesome boats. 7:30 trip somewhere, 8 o'clock trip somewhere else, 10:45 trip somewhere else, a 4:45 afternoon trip, all around the tides and everything. And it's all included, you don't have to pay anything extra. So you can come here basically and surf 5 or 6 different breaks, depending on what's cooking, and they cap it. So it's not like it's a free-for-all. So they only allowed X amount of guests to have a surfing permit at any given time. And the boats only take 12 people. So the risk of it being crowded out is just not really there. And yeah, me and my son surfed some wicked waves this morning. Really good. So I'm coming around to it. And yeah, like the perfect wave boat was excellent, and the break that you can just paddle straight out here is also excellent, which we're going to go see in a sec. Although the wind's not that favourable today. So you can see over here, well, hopefully you can see, we'll get closer in a sec. Taking the wrong road, sorry. It's about 1 billion degrees right now, by the way. So I'm a hero riding a boat. Especially after surfing. Okay, so you got these, I love them, they remind me of like Queensland style houses. So you've got these like 1 bedrooms basically, and they're all off the ground upstairs with a view out over the surf break the whole way along this edge. Right, so inside, and I'll show you when we get to our room and do a room review, they call it like, oh, see that one there, that's a double, so that's a 2-bedroom one. So they do have 2-bedroom, I think actually maybe 3 bedrooms. Yeah, 3 bedrooms, 1 downstairs and 2 upstairs, I think. They called it shabby chic. So they called their decor. And look, it's got a very like surf hut vibe to it. You know, and all that kind of like whitewash and so forth. So yeah, like if you're looking for shiny, modern, I mean it's clean and it's nice. And the aircon works a treat, and it's all great. But if you're looking for like that crazy modern, high-end luxury stay, then this isn't the place. This place is going to give you quality room, good value for money, and a surf break right there. And that's its pitch, right? Let's go have a closer look. So through here is, oh man, there's a real wave just peeled past. Conditions weren't that good this morning. Very low tide, a full moon. But I've been waiting for it to come good, and it looks like it's going to now. Yeah, so you can see these places like here, pretty awesome actually. You know, if you're a surfer, I'd totally pick these. You just wake up, open your window. There's a school, there's a surf school here. You can do surf lessons, of course. So that kind of, there's lots of activity, lots of different activities. There's a whole bunch of divers out there at the moment. Yeah, and you literally paddle out from these little steps here. You can surf these waves, and I got a couple yesterday from there, all the way down to that far end down there. Here goes one just rolling through. So the wind's just not quite favourable today, but that's still a perfectly surfable wave. It kind of runs for a long time, and you get down to the tail end here, and she starts to barrel a little bit. Yeah, so they're a fair bit bigger yesterday too. And there's a second takeoff zone after that barrel there, and I'm going to come back and surf it. It's turned on. Yeah, but nice look here as well. Little cabanas. Let's have along here, and it looks like there's some beverages and stuff you can buy from that part. So very cool. So this is really it. Like if you want to look at a snapshot of what the Holiday Inn Kandooma is all about, it's this. You know, pretty much empty. Well, it is empty, but you know the most I've seen out there is 3 people peeling barrels all the way down the point, and then you're sleeping there, and then you just like cruise down into the centre area for a feed if you're hungry. I've got to tell you, as a guy who's spent his entire life surfing, it's about perfect. Now, obviously, for 6 months of the year, there isn't waves. I was saying, I think they said April to October, I think is the primo for waves. But there's all that diving, there's the snorkelling on the house reef, and there's just that cool pool area and everything like that. So it's not like there's nothing here for non-surfers. In fact, 70% of the clientele are non-surfers, from what I understand. Okay, so you're not going to believe it, but it's so hot that my audio equipment literally just shut the bed. So it's just come up and just saying, I am too hot to work. And I've just waited 25 minutes and it's not cooling down. It must be, it's got high 30s, it's got to be high 30s. Look at the sweat coming off me, that's ridiculous. I need to get in the water. And I know that for large periods of the year there is no surf, but you know, there's still so much to do here with the diving, with the snorkeling, with that cool beach area, the quality food and everything like that. There's still a really good family experience here beyond the surfing, but you know, far out, like that's a dream. Like, you know, just being able to just wake up, see the surf, walk out, paddle out, surf a killer wave, come back, get fed like a king, do that 3 times a day. Booyah. All right, so without any audio equipment, I'm relying on the trusty old GoPro's audio here, so forgive me, I'll do my best to make it work. And if it just sucks, I'll do it again. All right, now let's go. Yeah, so these are all these beach facing ones. So you probably tell by how far that I've ridden, like from here, it's a decent walk in the heat back to that central area. And it's kind of a triangle shape, this island, so they're now coming down the other side. They've got more, there's a whole range of different kind of styles of accommodation here. So these are like a split rooms, I think. So like you can see 120 on this side, 120 on that side. So you can kind of go down the pricing, find something that's affordable for you. They've got quite a few options here. And these are still kind of beach facing. So on the other side of this, I'll show you in a sec, is the lagoon where there's probably the best snorkeling. And then in the middle of the island, in the middle of the triangle, you've got more different villas. You can see, maybe from how hard I'm struggling to breathe, now it's a fair walk. here's a little bit of a garden down here. I'll show you. There's a football pitch in the middle, which, geez, I don't know what time of the day you could use it. It's not in great condition. I'd say it's probably mostly for staff. It's on the map. Nothing stopping you from using it. There's a volleyball court over there as well, or a paddleball court. There's a kind of like, yeah, some interesting little gardens and bathtubs and stuff around here, just in the centre of the island. That's mostly, I think, staff focused, little greenhouse style thing. And you come back through here and then you've got these kind of rooms in the middle of the island. So I suspect these would be the cheapest options. They're actually, you know, they don't have anything to look out on, but they're also kind of the most central. So they don't necessarily have nothing going for them. They're very shady as well. Little hammocks out the front, which is cool. The room has a hammock. You can see it up there. Oh, hammocks on each room. It's nice. And then over here, there's another little beach, separate little beach. Not the greatest beach, but a nice little beach. It's got sun loungers and stuff, and lots of space. And then more rooms. They kind of open up onto that. Similar to the rooms on the other side, facing the ocean, but these ones are just facing kind of like, you know, a snorkel spot. All right, so in here, we've got the gym. Let's go take a look at the gym. And conveniently, right next to the gym, we have the spa. Let's go have a look at the spa, which includes there's a sauna, there's a steam room in this main complex, and there's these other outer buildings here which have kind of like the couples massage spaces. And I haven't been able to try a massage, unfortunately. It's actually run by a third party, not by the resort. It's run by, I think, the Como, which is another resort, like a sister resort. So I can't vouch for them, unfortunately. But the rooms look nice. And I did actually speak to one of the masseuses, and she was lovely. I'm sure it's fine, I'm sure it's good, but I can't vouch for it, sadly. Okay. Yeah, so here's some more of those rooms. So we're almost there. So if you continue along that road there for probably another 500, 600, 700 meters, you get back to the pool. And that's kind of the circle of the island. But we're going to go this way out to the Overwater Villas, which is where we're staying, and happens to be the furthest part of the island from everything, which is probably why I'm harping on about the distance a bit more than everyone else. But they will come down, they will pick you up with a buggy from this turning circle here. Right, so here's the villas, Overwater Villas. They're all one bedroom, except for the last one we're in, which is 2 bedroom. Doesn't look over the surf break, unfortunately. You got the little island over there, so if you've got these water villas, you're really just looking straight on that. It's probably not that pleasant. All these other ones face away from it, but they do face sunrise, not sunset. So a bit awkward there. Now this resort has been here for 30 years apparently, and for the last 14 it's been a Holiday Inn. So I'm guessing that island was nothing like that when they first put it here. But you can probably see, like, it's not, you know, it's kind of very shacky, isn't it? Shabby chic. I do want to mention the app as well. So there is an app. It's been a little clunky and hard to use. Just trying to find things like water sports timings and prices and stuff like that. We just haven't been able to get it to work that well. The internet's been good. So the internet works well. But yeah, the app's just not super functional. And one thing that they definitely should do, I think in my opinion, considering that surfing's such a big thing here, they should absolutely have a camera facing up Kandooma Right, which you can just access on the local Wi-Fi through the app. So if you're like me, and you've got no bike, and it takes you 15 minutes to walk down there, just to see if it's any good, you can just open up the app and have a look. That's something they definitely need to do. All right, anyway, here's our villa. Number 75. Let's go take a look. So if you come here as a bigger family, there's a couple of 3 bedrooms on the island as well. But if you want that full overwater villa experience, this is your only option. Now, when I first came in here and got a look at it, my initial feeling straight away was kind of like, oh, okay, it's a little bit, what's the word, rustic. It's a little bit, and interestingly, they called it shabby chic. I think like shabby chic or something like that, they call it. But you know, just a little bit kind of rough around the edges. But the more that I've stayed here, the more I've actually come to really, really like it. I love the outlook over the reef, and we'll show you that in more detail in a second. But the color scheme, like this really lovely blue, the pillows, the whitewashed, like if you look down here, we've got proper floorboards the whole way across. And it all kind of actually pulls together to create an experience that's actually quite lovely and quite relaxing. So I've actually come to really, really like enjoy it. And very light. You can see the big glass over there. So that's sunrise, so you're getting a lot of sun for most of the day through here. And then kind of at that heat of the day, it starts to switch over and you start to get some nice shade on the way out as well. So if we have a look around here, we've got a full-size mini bar. So in here, you get a couple of beers, you get cold waters, a couple of drinks and everything like that. They all come at a cost. Only coffee and water and tea and the milk for the coffee are included. So you've got a little coffee bench over here. What's interesting, you got some more stuff in there, some spirits and bits and pieces. Again, that's not included. And then a full kitchenette over here. Now what's interesting is they haven't actually supplied, these are all empty pantries. I don't know if you can see from here there, but there's nothing in them. So there's no cups, or not, there's nothing to actually use the kitchenette for. So that's a bit curious. I've come across that in a few places over the years, and why? Now over here you can see a door, which didn't turn up on anything I saw before I got here. And inside is a tiny little bed and a safe and a fan and no aircon. And I think this could be for the help in inverted commas. So yeah, don't know what to think of that. I guess it's really good that they've got it if you're the type of person who travels with a nanny or something like that. But yeah, it wouldn't be a very pleasant night's sleep in there, I don't think. Anyway, let's forget about that. So generous couch, TV, it's all connected to the internet. So you got YouTube, stuff like that on there. Internet's been fine, really quite good across the entire island. Not patchy. You've always got connection. It's worked really well. It's got audio here, and I've seen speakers in some of the rooms, but although we haven't had a need to use it. So you can see there's remotes everywhere you look. Separate air conditioning units in each section. Air conditioning here is really good. Does a very good job of keeping the room cool and livable because it's bloody hot out there. But also it makes a sound, but it's a very consistent, kind of almost like a white noise. It's not in any way, shape or form off-putting. So I'm really happy with that. Okay, let's have a look at the main bedroom first. Really lovely space. Looks straight out onto the water. The bed's quite firm. It's not uncomfortable, it's just firm. And the pillows come in 2 variants, soft and firm, although I'm hard pressed to feel the difference between them, to be fair. And so it's definitely not enough support for me, but that's just kind of been consistent across all the resorts. All the pillows have been really kind of not supportive, just all about being very soft. Here is like a really nice addition, a reading nook. It gets baking hot in the morning, but in the afternoon, once the sun gets onto the other side of the house, the air conditioning gets in here, and it's just such a beautiful place just to hang out, have a read, relax, have a drink. Excellent. So I really like that. I haven't seen it in any other place I've been in. It's really, really good. Nice big bench here. Got another TV in this room, as you can see, and lots of little nooks and crannies, charging spots at each end, made out of the same material. And this is where you can kind of see that kind of shabby chic thing that they're going for, but also just that kind of surfer vibe, beachy feel kind of carry through, and you start to get you start to get the vibe, and you start to feel the vibe. Over here, not the massive amount of space for you know, all your bits and pieces, but you don't really need much more than much in this environment, to be fair. Just not anywhere really to store your big bags of luggage. So ours are just kind of loitered around, but yeah, that's what you're looking for, storage space. Through here, generously sized bathroom, toilet, shower with both options. So you've got the rainmaker, you've got your shower handle there, pump packs for all the stuff, which is good to see. All the bottles here are glass bottles, all the water bottles, so I really do like that we're starting, definitely in the Maldives. I don't think we've one time in any of the resorts we've been in, they've actually been given a plastic water bottle. It's all on the boats, on the transfer boats, but usually it's glass. Very, very good, because you do see them floating out in the water and it makes your heart break each time. But yeah, pretty basic, but fits in with the theme, and generous with its space. And then out here, you've got a really lovely big bathtub, which I've covered with stuff. I'm sorry, I forgot that I'd put that there. And this outdoor shower, which is what I've predominantly used, which then looks out over the reef and the break and the waves. Now, a couple of times there's been people snorkeling down there, so it doesn't feel awfully private in a way, but you can roll this down if you want to use this shower and not run the risk of being seen. But it's happened so few times, it hasn't been that big a worry. The only thing that you may notice, there's no way to get to this outdoor shower from down there. You have to come through the house, which I'll talk through. Now, that's not the case in the single bedrooms. In the single bedrooms, the ramp goes straight up to the outdoor shower, which is obviously a better way to do it, because you're keeping basically the wet activity in the wet areas. So through here, there's another toilet, which is a nice addition, really, to have that kind of extra shower and toilet area in this main living space. And then through here, we have the kids' room, which will able to quite easily fit a trundle in. Now, if you've seen the photos on the website, like we did before we got here, you were like, how are we going to fit the third child in? Fits fine. It's a nice full-size bed. It's not a couch. You know, it's a good bed. Two other additional beds here. They also get a nice outlook, but no reading nook. And they get the same big bench, same TV, same everything over here. So really well provisioned, and you know, like each section, each of the three sections, each of the bedroom, the middle section, you know, all got the fully provisioned, fully air-conned, lovely. And if you come through here, they've got a space in here to store and hang their stuff. I guess I could have put the bags up there if I was strong enough. And then they've got a slightly different bathroom layout here with what kind of a wet room with a shower and a bathtub in it, but they've got a second bathtub. So there's two bathtubs in this place. It's pretty impressive. The toilet, little basin in it, and then out there to your outdoor shower, which is a bit more exposed than on the other side. The only thing that's weird is that this opens this way, so just kind of bit random. That they've done it around the wrong way, in my opinion. All right, come through this way. Last but not least, we have the deck. So nice big open deck. We had a pretty big rainstorm in here. It stayed dry almost all the way. It's sunrise facing, and the sunrise has been beautiful. And then the sunset on the other side, but then the moon comes up, and the moon just shimmering over all of this. It just looks absolutely beautiful at night. And you'll see this little walkway down here to an area down the bottom with the sun lounges. It's honestly been way too hot to even think about using that. There's no umbrella down there. Like, that would have been really lovely if there was an umbrella you could put up. That's what it really needs, because it's just too intense. But you got your little walkway down there. Now the tides, even on the king tides, it doesn't get very deep out there. So while this is kind of fun snorkeling, the depth is always an issue, and for large parts of the day it's too shallow to actually snorkel, and in other parts of the day the current's pretty strong as well. So it probably hurts in a little way that there isn't a pool here. I like that I've said before, and that it's cool that the bonus of not having a pool on each of the villas is everyone becomes a community at the main pool, but it's so far from here back to the pool that you just wish you had something here, because yeah, it just gets so hot. The trampoline thing, at first I thought, that's cool, but you don't really use it. Then I came and lay down there on sunset and then watched the moon rise, and it was a real experience. So I actually kind of enjoyed that. But yeah, I prefer a pool there if possible, but not to be. So the one thing that I do think, I should mention the beanbags as well. That's a really nice, cool touch. Again, ties into the surfer vibe. And this mirror is rad. And the way that it's angled, it actually angles straight into the sunrise. So it kind of fills the rest of the place. I really like it. Now the one thing that I do think they should look at for these overwater villas is push bikes. So you can rent a push bike. That's just another cost, and that's one of the things about the Holiday Inn is there's a lot of extra costs. So it's a smaller cost to get in, but then once you're in here, it's very piecemeal in the way that you buy things. But it's just so far from here back to the central area, and it's so hot that they should probably think about push bikes for the villas, overwater villas, just to help people get in and out. Like, they can't even get the buggies up here. So even just walking to the end of the wharf sometimes is enough to bugger you. So that's something they could probably think about. So then, one of my final thoughts on the Holiday Inn Kandooma Maldives. Look, I think you just need to know what you're getting into, and I think you're gonna have a really, really good time. So it's a 4-star resort. Not that it really feels particularly 4-star, but it's a 4-star resort, and a lot of the things that you might assume would be included with, you know, a resort in the Maldives aren't. For example, like, you have to pay a bit extra for yoga, as an example. Obviously there's the wave park. There's always little extra costs around if you want to get the full package. If you don't want to get the full package, then you're able to kind of basically come in at a cheaper price point. So it's not necessarily a pro or a con. You just need to know that when you come in, that you need to just stay aware of all the different prices and everything that are involved. Overall, I think the experience here has been really fun. The kids have had a really good time. There's definitely some things I'd like to see improved. That kind of distance issue between these overwater villas and that main pool section, like some way of getting some bikes into the hands of the people staying out here, I think would be a really beneficial service. I think having a camera over that surf break, the main surf break, that just streams to the app via the local Wi-Fi, so you're kind of reducing the amount of walking you have to do, because that's the one thing that kind of gets on your nerves a little bit. Outside of that, the accommodation, I managed to see 4 different rooms here. The actual rooms, I think, have been really nicely done and thought out. They've got this very beach shack experience to them. A lot of them remind me of kind of like when I used to go up to Queensland as a kid and holiday up there along the coast of the Gold Coast and that. Got a very similar vibe to that. And as long as you're happy to embrace that, I guess, sun-drenched, cottagey, beachy vibe, then I think you'll actually quite like it. It's a bit of a shame that these further villas away don't have pools, but again, that's that kind of where you see it kind of dip down from potentially a 5-star to a 4-star. That's the kind of little extras that you will start to see fade out. Kids club, my younger kids, my 11-year-old and my 9-year-old, sorry, my 11-year-old, my 8-year-old, both quite enjoyed the kids club, especially the ball pit, especially the water park, and Me and my older son definitely enjoyed the activities, in particular the surfing. The snorkeling was great. The house, there isn't much of a house reef really, but they do take you on snorkeling trips daily, so you can go kind of get out to where the snorkeling is really, really good, and there's incredible dive spots. Like the diving side of things is amazing. So if you're a diver, if you're a surfer, in particular, if you're a surfer who's surfing with their kids, where you don't want to have that kind of aggression and that fight at every single break that you go to in the Maldives, I think it's just a case closed. This is the one you want, come here, and I think you'll have a really good time. If you're looking for that more luxury, high-end experience with the complete villa, with the pool, and everything kind of included, then potentially you may want to look elsewhere. I will say that the actual prices here on the island, while expensive relatively to say being at home, are actually the cheapest I've come across in the Maldives in terms of like the price of a beer, for example, or the price of a burger, that type of thing. So it still adds up, but it is definitely a cheap option in that regard as well. And the food quality has been good. There's only a couple of restaurants though, so if you're staying here for a longer period of time, that might start to get a bit samey, because there isn't a heck of a lot of variety there, but I'm sure you'll manage if you're surfing perfect waves every single day. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Holiday Inn Kandooma Maldives. Great family location and perfect if you're up for an active Maldivian experience. I'm Chris Stead. Make sure to check out my other videos. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm back on the road.